What's up, y'all? So the other day I was watching an anime and I got about 8 episodes in, and then I realized that I had no clue what was going on. Like, I hadn't been given any plot, and I was just all around confused who the characters were, what they were doing, and their reasons for doing it. Granted, I was at work while I was watching this, so I was a little bit preoccupied, but that gave me an excellent idea for a video. I want to talk about average anime that are just so average that you really just don't remember watching them. You know the name and you know the general plot, but if somebody asks you at an episode by episode list of what happened, you'd be like, I have no clue. So let's get into it. So first up on the list, we got The Ambitions of Oda Nobunaga, which is a show about a guy who gets transported back to the past, and he uses his knowledge from his future and from a video game that he liked to play to help Oda Nobunaga settle her entire country, which is Japan. In what's it called? Feudal Japan? Yeah, in feudal Japan. So the best parts about the show are without a doubt the romance element that they introduce, and the fact that the girl is drawn perfectly. Oda Nobunaga is a girl, and she is drawn absolutely proportional. They didn't make her breasts so big that she couldn't stand up without assistance, and the rest of her body seems to fit with the way that she's built. Plus, she's got a very pretty face. Obviously, she's gonna have a pretty face because they drew her that way. But the problem is that the dude is an absolute idiot, the dumbest man on the face of the planet, and he thinks that just because things happened in his, and it's not even a good video game, it's an Arrowish video game. So he thinks because the things happen in his Arrowish video game one way, then they're gonna happen the same way in real life. And that's not how things work. And the girl, she's the tsundere-est tsundere you've ever tsundere'd. So she's terrible, and I hate her. But the romance element is really nice, and the actual plot of the show works really well inside of like what they were trying to do. So yeah, show's not too bad all around. What it really could have benefited from was just one of the pair being just a little bit better of a character, and from a second season, because they definitely ended on what I bet they thought was going to be the best cliffhanger ever, and instead it was just like, kind of like when you go through the drive-thru and you order something but you only get half your order. You're like, yeah, I guess I got something, but y'all could have given me what I wanted. So let's get to the next one. So next up we got Dog and Scissors. Dog and Scissors is an isekai anime that is not an isekai anime. The gist of the show is that a guy one day goes to a coffee shop and he's reading his Arrowish books, and a girl's being harassed by a robber, and he has a shotgun, so then the dude steps in there to save the girl and gets his fucking brains blown out of his head. And then he wakes up as a dog. And then that dog gets purchased by the girl that he protected at the coffee shop. And oh, surprise, the girl at the coffee shop is actually the artist of the Arrowish books that he likes to read. And so we go on this journey where they kind of have a romance between the two of them, and there's like this romantic tension, but nothing actually happens because he's a dog. She appreciates what he did for her and risking his life for her, but she also doesn't want to do anything with the dog, but she kind of likes his personality. And he has a thing for 2D girls, so he ain't even about her because he only wants a 2D woman. So you watch this show and you're like, well, what's the point? What am I watching it for? There's no romantic tension. They're not going to get together because he's a dog, and the entire show is basically just them going on adventures. So the show is nice in the sense that you're watching it for the adventure of these two people, but it doesn't have a point. There's nothing to it. They have elements of the show that don't matter because they never get cashed in on. And even if they did get cashed in on, instead of you being like, oh cool, they're in a relationship now, you'd be like, the fuck is she doing with that dog? So don't do you much good, does it? Third up on this list we have When Supernatural Battles Became Commonplace, and aside from the name, I actually really like this anime. And I said aside from the name, but I don't think that's what I meant to say, because I really like the name of the anime too. That's the whole draw in why I watched it. So what this show basically is 4 high school students in a club that wake up one day with superpowers. And they do exactly what you would expect 4 high schoolers who woke up with superpowers to do. They play around with it, they have a lot of fun with it, and they just make a big joke of the whole deal. So, why is this show not a good show for me? Why is it just an average show? It's because in the last 4 episodes, they just tried to make this huge menacing plot that they sort of started to build up to, but then we never get anything afterwards because it doesn't get cashed in for a season 2. So the problem that we have here is that they pace themselves so slow trying to build up to this huge plot that they intended to finish in the second season, and we got nothing. It just made them look foolish, honestly. I really like this show for the characters and for the way that they acted and the way that they treated their powers and just the entire feel of a high school club where they have superpowers but do nothing with them. Like, great concept, in my opinion. But then they ruined it by trying to do way too much in the span of this 12-episode anime in hopes of getting a second season. Instead, they should have just kept it where it was, and then maybe if it did well, go for a second season next time. So, yeah. Average anime. Next up, we got Armed Girls Machiavelliism. Machiavelli? Look, I don't know how to say the name. But the plot of this show is about as ridiculous as the name is. So basically, this is just another template anime where a dude goes to a school and the school's full of samurai girls and they're all awesome with sword techniques, and he's like, I don't use a sword, I have this super awesome technique where I use my hands, and you're gonna watch me do the wind up for this technique every single time that I use it. There is no, I'm gonna use it real quick, nah. There's a full sequence. I'm talking like at least a full 5-second sequence where you watch him wind up to do his attack, and every time he uses it, you see this same sequence. Pretty sure it was just the animator's way of like sneakily sneaking in a couple of seconds into the show so they didn't have to animate it. Anyways, so he goes to this school in search of his senpai, which is a bad thing, and he's just looking for her so he can tell her that he loves her, and this whole time he actually does nothing except for beat up girls, change their opinion of him, and then she leaves, and he's upset. So, whole show right there, boom. This show, honestly, I was gonna say it was one of the worst shows I've ever seen, but then I thought about it, it's not the worst. It's just kind of average and forgettable. There is no aspect of this show where it's better than any other show inside of its template, but it also isn't worse than any other show inside of its template. I think this is like the base for a template anime. This is what every template anime should be better than, and if it's worse than this one, you know just to not even go near it. So, that's where Arm Girl's Machiavellianism places. Somebody tell me how to say that name, because I can't. Maybe it's just my tongue. Maybe my tongue doesn't work. Last up on this list, we have Infinite Stratos, which when we are talking about template anime, Infinite Stratos is like the template for the template anime. Infinite Stratos is about a guy who goes to a school, and he's the only one that can operate a Stratos, and all Stratos are supposed to only be operated by women. So he goes to the school full of all these women, and a lot of them are busty and busting out of their clothes, and he's just like, well, what's going on? And he's a fucking idiot, and he just gets beat up and just destroyed mentally on every aspect, and then he's like, oh yeah, but turns out I'm awesome. So, yeah, Infinite Stratos is the template anime. So, any anime that follows that is basically just in its own template. And Arm Girl's Machiavellianism is basically in that template. It's just like if Infinite Stratos is here, right? Machiavellianism is like right here. So yeah, so they're basically the same show. So yeah, so those are all the average anime that I have watched in my career. That's actually not all of them. That's just 5 of the best average anime. Go check out one of those 5 average anime and tell me your average anime that you've watched, and maybe I'll debate you on it and tell you that it sucks or that it's awesome. Who knows? That's it for me, y'all. I'm Kev, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. You claiming that you with it, but nah, you ain't with it, dawg. Yeah. Yes, I'm committed. You want me to stop, but I never quit it, dawg. Hey. And I don't need nobody. Hey. But I want somebody. They all hate cause I'm all in, and that's why I'm about whatever, man. Spending money like it's gonna last forever, man. We living life cause we finna live forever, man. Live forever, man. Gonna live forever, man. Yeah, that's why I'm about whatever.